What is up? Welcome back to the Healthy Lit Vibes podcast. I'm your host, Quintina, and oh my God, I am back with another episode. Good episode, y'all. As always, my episodes are going to be lit, okay? If nobody hype my episodes up, like, who gonna do it? You gotta hype yourself up. You can't sit around waiting on people to validate you and hype you up and support you. It starts with you. Everything starts with you. Yo, I just got inspired by my main man, David Shands. Shout out to David Shands at the Social Proof Podcast. Go check that out. If you have not listened to the Social Proof Podcast, go check his podcast out. Oh my gosh. So I was like, let me get on here because I feel inspired. Let me record this episode. So anyway, today we're going to be talking about, I just wanted to share some of my experiences and my things I've learned on my entrepreneurial journey and my journey of personal development and business development, business education, the things that I've learned, my mistakes, or my learning curves, right? Because sometimes we just get caught up. Sometimes we get caught up in trying to make the process too perfect, right? And I know I talk about the process a lot, but it's all about the process. It's all about embracing your process, because no one's process is exactly the same, right? And sometimes we get caught up in thinking like, well, why is that working for him like that? Or why, or we think that we have to do what they did to reach a certain level of success. And sometimes it's not the case. And I'm learning that it's definitely not the case for me, because everybody background and frame of reference is so different. And what worked for the next person may not work for you, because your mindset may not be where their mindset was at your age, or at that step in the process, right? Oh my God, this was actually supposed hey, y'all, I'm always saying this was actually supposed to be just like a rough draft, but it might still be a rough draft. If not, here it is. But yeah, and I'm just learning I'm learning to get out of the habit of being perfect and just executing, which was always my downfall. So that's why I'm making this video. I was like, well, let me just turn this camera on. Execute. I was just talking to my friend the other day. I'm like, she was telling me she was doing all this research, and she want to get this right, and she just want to look up this. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she sound like me last year. Like, I procrastinated so long about doing everything. And it's like, when I look at myself, because of the things that I invested in, I've invested in so much personal development and business education, going to conferences, buying a shitload of books, programs after programs. And I'm like, it's not working. That don't work. I need something else. Ooh, that looked like it worked. And I come to the realization now that, like, no, it's not that and that and that. It's you. It's me. It's like, of course it don't work, because you're not working it. I'm not executing on the program, on the instructions that these people in these programs are giving me, that my mentors are telling me to do. You know why I'm not executing? Because of it's mindset. My belief in myself wasn't all the way there. Worrying about what other people think, you know what I mean? Scared to make a mistake, and not realizing that all of those things is part of the process. Yes, you're gonna fuck up if it's your first time doing something. You're not gonna do it perfectly right. And what I said, I got inspired from that David Shands podcast today with Dan Henry. He said something so simply profound. He was like, if you go to school to be a brain surgeon, I'm paraphrasing, But he's like, when you go to school to be a brain surgeon, do you think you're gonna be like as good the first year as you will 10 years in? No, you're not. It's going to take, first you got to start. But if you're scared to fuck up 9 times out of 10, you're not going to start. And by you not starting your process, you're not going to gain those skills to get better, to be better, right? So it's like, what's the point of even trying to be perfect? There's no such thing. And that's what I struggle with. I struggle with being perfect. And I'm like, and worried about, if I'm not perfect, criticism from other people. But like I said, I came to the realization there's no such thing as perfect. The name of the game is execution. And people are going to talk whether you're doing bad or good just because of their own personal issues. You know what I mean? And it's up to you to ignore the people that's not supporting you, and just focus on the people that is supporting you, and just focus on embracing your process, loving the shit out of your process, and loving the shit out of yourself through the fuck ups, right? And I know I'm cursing a lot, but I feel that that's the best way I can like get it in. But I'm gonna pull it back a little bit. But anyway, I was like, wow. So hopefully this is resonating with you. I know it's resonating with somebody. If you're watching it, just trust and believe you needed to hear this. You needed to hear this. And I'm trusting that every time I am inspired to say something, go ahead and say it, because it needs to be said in that moment, and stop waiting. So, and that's part of my journey of getting out of this perfectionism. Oh yeah, I'm spitting. Getting out of this perfectionism mindset, because there's no such thing. So yeah, that's one of the biggest things I've learned on my journey of, because I was just sitting here like, damn, I downplay myself a lot. And I was like, I've done a lot of shit. I have a lot of experience most people in my immediate environment, and like my group of people don't have. I've been to so many conferences, y'all, so many seminars, and then when I sit back and reflect, the main thing that's in common is like following directions. If you're taking a course, you're reading a book, or you're taking a program, or you have a mentor that's way more successful than you and have way more experience, the first rule is to follow directions. But the only way, for me, I'm just speaking from my experience. For me, I've learned that it was so, like, I would do my best to follow directions, but it was so hard because, like I said, my mind wasn't all the way there. I was still trying to like compare it to other programs. And it's like, it was something else. Somebody said this in one of the programs I was in. He was like, when you start a program or you got a mentor and they tell you to do something, you have to go all in on that. You have to follow the plan. You can't be trying to compare that plan to another plan, because those are two separate things, two separate teachers. You either follow that plan and see it through, or you don't. Or if you try to tweak it along the way, your own way, and you're not successful, you're going to have roadblocks, and you're going to sit there and say, oh, this ain't work. This don't work. No, you didn't follow the directions the way it was supposed to be worked. And y'all, one of my favorite sayings that a lot of people say, I've tried that. I've tried everything, especially in the health and fitness department. And it's like, no, you have not tried that. No one knows everything. No one has tried everything. You see, we get in our own way and we say, oh, I've tried that. It's like, okay, all right. So you, especially if you're listening to you going to a mentor who's successful or who has more experience in something that you're trying to accomplish, you have to sit back, dial it back, humble yourself, get your ego out the way, pretty much your ego out the way, and stop trying to be right, and follow the steps and trust your process, right? And don't be trying to compare. And that was another thing I dealt with, comparing my situation and my process to other people. Look, you know what I mean? So that can hinder your success. But when you learn to love your process, then that eliminates a lot of the comparing. So that's pretty much the space I'm in right now. But yeah, so back to what I was saying. Oh, y'all, I lost my train of thought, but I'm gonna just keep going. Yeah, it takes a lot. The main thing they were talking about in the podcast, it was like mindset. And I talk about that all the time. Mindset is the main thing that's going to get you to work the plan, right? Get you to execute. Because if your mindset isn't there, which, you know what I mean? When I say mindset, it's like what you believe about yourself. How do you see yourself? Do you think you are even capable of executing? Because if you don't think you're capable of executing, it's going to show up in your action. Because deep down inside, we all know what we feel we are capable of doing. Because I know for me, for the longest, like I said, procrastination, where does that even stem from? Perfectionism, what does that even stem from? You feeling that you're not good enough yet to even move forward, to even begin to take action on your goals, right? Yeah. And that's exactly a lot of what I dealt with, like not feeling good enough and not feeling good enough. Why don't you feel good enough? You know, we got to dig deep. Why don't you feel good enough? Because you're looking at other people, you comparing yourself. And sometimes we do it unconsciously or subconsciously. I think that's the right way. Yeah, I'm not trying to be perfect. So correct me if I'm wrong, but we do it subconsciously, which means doing it without even being aware that we're doing it sometimes. And that's why I say it's good to just reflect and just take a step back and look at your situation. But I'm saying that to say that I'm not going to make this podcast episode long, because y'all, this was just kind of like, ugh. But I just wanted to get this out to let y'all know that in order to be successful, you have to invest in your mind. Read books. Readers are leaders. Whether you like to read or not, you have to understand that at some point you need to open up a book that is not Facebook, okay? Open up some type of personal development, even if it's 5 minutes a day. Like if it's not an actual physical book, invest in audio programs. And you don't even, y'all, they have free audiobooks on YouTube, which is how I listen to most of my books. But I actually, like, I have I'm a book lover. I'm not saying you have to love books, but you have to be willing to open up a book or listen to an audio for at least 5 to 10 minutes a day if you want to grow your mindset, right? You want to reprogram your mind to start believing in yourself. Yeah, believing in yourself, believing that you are capable to be successful. A lot of people don't even, like, I remember when I was doing the health coaching, I was speaking to somebody and asking them, like, because y'all, I even been a part of like a lot of, not a lot, but the health coaching was like a what is it? Direct sales. And so, you know, we recruit people and we actually also, you know, sell products. If you're not familiar with MLM, multi-level marketing, things like that. And that's another thing. Like, yes, I wasn't really successful as I wasn't successful in health coaching as much as I wanted to be. But now looking back, I understand that it was just all part of my process, all part of my journey. Because I still love health and fitness, but I'm like, one thing that they mentioned on the podcast too, Dan Henry was like, sometimes we feel we what did he say? He said that we have to realize that, okay, let me pull it back. It was one line he said. He's like, sometimes when we're at a job, we feel that we're better than this job. And I was like, damn, I always thought like that, like, why am I working here? Like, I'm better than this job. I could own this place if I want to. But it's like, okay, why? So why are you here? Why don't you own this place? And at the time, I didn't realize, obviously, it was still some things in myself that I didn't, it was still some things I needed to work on. It was still some things about business, about being an entrepreneur that I did not understand. And so what he said was, in order, what did he say? Because he was like, there's no such thing as learning how to be more confidence. In order to gain confidence, you have to first be competent. And essentially what he meant by that is that, y'all ever notice, like, when you understand something, just like how I'm talking to you now, without, it's just flowing. When you understand something, you naturally become confident in what you're saying and what you're doing and how you're building a business, because you're competent in that, right? So you naturally are confident. And I was like, wow, that makes so much more sense. And he said that it's not that he was saying that most people think, oh, I'm better than this job. It's like, no, you're not better than that. You're not better. Oh my God, y'all. I promise I'm gonna get it out. I'm just so excited. And let me slow it down. He was like, it's not that you're better than that job, otherwise you wouldn't be there. Is that you have the potential. And a lot of people confuse potential with actually already being that thing. So he was like, yeah, so because he was like, once you realize that you have the potential, then the next step is to start educating yourself. And then in the process of educating yourself, which goes back to opening up books, investing in your education, buying books, audios, investing, spending time investing in your mindset and learning, right? Or going to conferences. So he was saying how that's the best way to start growing in that area and being the person that actually is better than that place. Because if you're being the person that's better than the place that you work at, you would be where you want to be. You wouldn't be in that position saying that, like, oh, I'm better than this job, because you will actually be living that type of life and being that person. So it starts with opening up a book. And in the process of educating yourself, repetition is key to understanding, to gaining competence. And once you gain competence, he was saying that confidence is the byproduct of competence. So I hope y'all got all that. It may take a little while to sink in. And I know I mentioned on my last episode, my last podcast, that sometimes you're not going to understand things right away as quick as you would like. Because that was my thing. It's like, I was getting so frustrated. Like, I've taken all these seminars, I've read all these books, I invested thousands of dollars into myself. Why don't I understand this? Like, why am I not successful? Why I don't have a booming business? Why am I not making this amount of money per month? But that's what I said, timing, divine timing. Everybody, you just have to trust, love your process, and understand that as long as you keep moving the needle forward every day and keep working towards that goal, or I wouldn't even say a goal, just because working towards being better, and goal, being just a better person, being better in that business endeavor. Well, let me turn this car off, y'all. As long as you keep working towards being better and not giving up, then you will eventually get there. Do y'all know, I don't know the whole story, but the Thomas Edison situation, they were saying before he came out, what Thomas Edison came out? The car, the light bulb, whatever. My point is, before I think it was the car. Somebody correct me. Drop it in the comments. Google. I'll probably Google afterward. But my point is, before, it took him over 100 times until he got that thing. And the same with The same with the Kentucky Fried Chicken dude. He didn't get his big break until he was what, in his 50s, 60s, right? So you have to understand your time will come, but you have to just trust and love your process. And also start, if you're not investing in yourself, as far as paying for books or listening to audios on YouTube, listening to podcasts like this that feeds your mind to get to help you start thinking different. And what I like to do, I love reading about successful people, biographies, because it inspires me, especially somebody that can closely relate to me. So, that's a good way to get you inspired and motivated, to help get you jump started to taking action towards your own goals. What else I was going to say? Yeah, it's just timing. And I was like, damn, I know a lot of stuff just from my trial and error, my experiences with investing in myself. I was like, man, you have to understand, like, the more you invest, I know a lot of people are scared to pay money for things, but that's every successful person that I know, that I've encountered, has invested thousands of dollars into themselves, because it takes a certain amount of belief in yourself, a certain amount of mindset to understand that, to understand the benefit to investing lots of money into yourself. Because you have to believe that, you have to be at a certain space to believe that you are capable of executing on the plan. Because once you're in that space to believe that believe and trust that you will execute the plan, and there's levels to it. Because in the past, I spent all this money believing that, oh yeah, I got this. I'm gonna follow directions. Oh yeah, this is the perfect program. And I would get excited and pay my money, and I would be, doing a program or whatever. But as soon as I hit a roadblock that I didn't understand, I would get, of course I would get frustrated. I would try again. But then eventually I would give up, and I'm done, and I done wasted my money. Well, it really wasn't a total waste looking back, but in the moment I feel like, damn, I done spent thousands of dollars. Y'all, oh my God, I spent so much money. I'm just sharing to tell, like, I want to show you in real time what success looks like, because this podcast is going to be up. So right now, you know what I mean, I'm not where I want to be, but I am a lot further than where I was years ago. My mindset now I have all of these. Now things are clicking, y'all. Things are clicking, and now I'm executing, and I'm learning. I'm learning not to be perfect and just execute when I, feel led, and just go from there, and understanding, learning as you go. But I still don't have the money, you know what I mean? But I'm wealthy in knowledge, right? So now I'm in a space of like, oh, okay, it all clicked. So now the money is just around the corner. It's just a matter of time at this point. But I'm still continuing to invest in my personal development, the way I think, my belief. I'm still maintaining that and building on that. Because learning never stops, right? That's what they don't tell you in school. Learning never stops. You want to continue to educate yourself. Just because you're not technically in an institution, that doesn't mean that you stop learning. Like, I always said, like, I went to college for a little bit. For those of you who don't know, I went to college for business, but then I was like, I don't think it's different for everybody, but I felt that I didn't need to continue because I love learning. I'm self motivated, and I'm self educated. So I invest in a lot of books. I invest in a lot of seminars. But anyway, let me stop going on a tangent as I normally do. But what I was about to say is, yeah, the more you invest in yourself, the more return on your investment you get, the more, how can I break it down, y'all? I'm trying. Hopefully, I hope y'all understand me. I said this wasn't gonna be long. We going on 25 minutes. I'm gonna end it in a second, but I just wanted to share this and say that because if you're not used to investing money into yourself, it's going to feel uncomfortable, because just depending on your level of belief of how can I explain this, of what a lot of money is, right? And it's different for everybody, because like I was saying, going back to when I was health coaching, I was talking to a girl and I was like, how much money is a lot of money to you? How much money would you like to make a month from being in business for yourself? Like, how much money do you feel you would need to sustain your bills and also, you know, have some play money? This girl told me she was like $2,500 was like a lot of money to her. And I was like, wow. I was like, you know, so it's levels to it. You may be there thinking $2,500 is a lot of money to you. If your mindset and your belief is that $2,500 is a lot right now, then you may look at a $2,500 program and be like, oh my God, that's a lot of money, I'm not doing that. And you may not see the benefit to investing in that. So it's definitely levels. So I would really say start off with like books, just to kind of, you know, get you in the groove of investing in yourself and learning about these people and understanding that the more you invest in yourself, the more you surround yourself with successful people, the more it's going to help you develop. Yes, develop is a good word. Develop a success mindset, right? And the more you develop your mindset, the more you start to take certain actions towards investing in your personal growth, right? And learning, and the more you do that, it's just the domino effect. And the more you start investing in your growth, the more you're going to start spending money. Because the more money you spend, I'm saying the more money you invest, the more money you will potentially make once you start executing on the things you need to do to reach your goals, right? Yes. So yeah, I will say that I don't have as much money now that I don't have as much money as I've invested up until this point right now. But I will say I am, the amount of knowledge I have right now, the amount of confidence I have in myself, the amount of competence and understanding I have, oh my God. Yo, it's priceless. It was well worth it. Every last little bit. All the programs I did not finish and I spent all this money, I've gained something from it, even to this day. And now I have a better understanding of the power of investing a lot of money in yourself, to put yourself in rooms around successful people. Because what's the saying? They say you want to surround yourself with 3 levels of people. People that are on a level, people that are on a success level, like more successful than you. People that are on the same, well, let me break yo. I need to get better with speaking. So this comes with not being perfect, because if I was trying to be perfect, I would have recorded this video about 1,000 times, because I'm just stumbling over my words. But anyway, I'm excited. I'm sorry, y'all. The sun is in my face. But yes, you want to surround yourself with people that are more successful than you, so you can learn from them and be inspired by them. And yeah, pretty much learn from them and soak up all of the knowledge and things that comes with being around these successful people. Because environment is everything when it comes to becoming the person you want to become. And then the second group of people is people who are on your level, people who can relate to you, who you can kind of have as accountability partners and things like that, and grow with, just to have that support, right? And then you want to have people that are on the level that's kind of under you, people that you can help, that you can inspire, that you can give value to, right? So all of these things play a part in your journey to reaching your goals, right? And then, like I said, learning never stops. You should always be learning to the day you die. You should be learning something new every day. I always try to, that's one of my goals. I always try to learn something new every day, no matter what it is. And if as I said, if you haven't picked up a book in 10 years, make today your first day. Start with 5 minutes. Like, that's nothing. Set a timer on your phone. Open up a book. It's going to feel like, uncomfortable, right? Until you start doing it consistently. That's with anything. That's like, think of it as start a new job. When you start a new job, you don't know everything. And sometimes you may get frustrated because, we always too hard on ourselves, thinking we supposed to just know everything, going right into it. You may get frustrated, but that's why they give you a 90-day period. You should give your own self and now I see the benefit. Oh, is that a bug? Get out! Y'all, I'm sorry. This is not going to be edited. This is real time. You feel me? But yeah, now I see why they give you a 90-day period. Because when that's a good time frame to really get in the groove of adopting a new habit, right? So I'm going to end this podcast today. I just want to drop that, give y'all that a few little tips, right? And hopefully it helped you. And I'm going to leave y'all with two books to check out. The first book is called Atomic Habits. I'll leave the if you're watching this on YouTube, I'll leave the link. Oh my God, I apologize for this sun, y'all. I'll leave the link in the description box if you're watching this on YouTube. I can't remember the author's name right now, but Atomic Habits. And then I was gonna get y'all a Dan Henry book, but I actually didn't read his book. Somebody had told me about his book. If you're listening to this podcast, you know who you are. And I was just like, wow, that's so crazy how somebody literally just told me about Dan Henry. And he's on David Shands' podcast. One of my favorite podcasters. But no, Atomic Habits and The 4 Agreements. The 4 Agreements. Oh my God. The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. I believe that's his name. So yes. I'll leave the links in the description box. And those of you who are listening on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, please rate this podcast. I thank you again for listening, for tuning in, for watching me. Let's see what I want to tell y'all. What I want y'all to do. Because I always say leave a comment about your takeaways. I want to know, what's the most money you've ever spent on a educational program or anything that has to do with personal development? And how did you feel when you invested that money into that program? How did you feel? Because I know when I did it, this is the last thing I'm gonna say and I'm gonna end it. I felt so uncomfortable. I was like, I can't believe I paid that much money. I'm going to tell you how much I paid. I invested like $4,000 into this program, y'all. And I didn't even finish the damn program. But looking back, I was like, I learned so much. Because especially if you're an entrepreneur and you're, you want to have your own business and you're trying to set up these things, it's always good to see how other people are setting their programs up, especially if it's a program that's similar to what you want to do. So I learned a lot in that space. I met a lot of great successful people, and that's another great way to meet different people that's like-minded like you, especially now as adults. It's hard to meet friends in general as adults, so let alone people with the same success mindset or entrepreneur mindset. So that's a great way to meet people, by going to conferences, online programs, all of that, y'all. So it wasn't a total waste, but it's just kind of like, you know, you live and you learn. And so now going forward, now that I'm, you know, like I said, it's levels. Now that I'm a little bit more better in the space of executing and taking action towards things, it's just gonna get better. I'm gonna get closer and closer to completing it. But anyway, yes, drop a comment of the most money you've ever invested in yourself, and how did you feel when you invested that money, right? Yeah, so I'm going to end this. As usual, make sure y'all follow me on all of my social medias. Healthy Lit Vibes on Instagram. Let me run that back. Healthy Lit Vibes Podcast, y'all. It's all one word. Healthy with 2 Y's and Vibes with a Z on Instagram. Healthy Lit Vibes Podcast on Facebook. Healthy Lit Vibes Podcast on YouTube. If you're listening to this on Spotify, Apple, Google, any podcast audio right now, you can watch this video if you want to see me on YouTube, and you want to see my beautiful car studio. You can look me up on YouTube, but when you put in Healthy Lit Vibes Podcast, it's just space between each word. And make sure you subscribe if you are watching this on YouTube right now. Yeah, you that's watching this. Subscribe, like this video, share with somebody that may need to hear this, that you feel it can help. And yes, stay tuned for the next episode. And what else? How else I want to end this? Yes, I think that's it. That's it, y'all. We on 36 minutes. It wasn't too long. It wasn't too bad. But I am about to be out of here. As always, stay lit, live intentionally, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye.